Russell Westbrook, one of the most polarizing players in NBA history. Some love him, some hate him, but it's hard to argue he had a confusing and disappointing season last year for his standards, whether you believe it was his fault or not. And it's also hard to dispute, actually, it's impossible to dispute, he's getting older. With someone who has a game predicated on athleticism and having the ball in his hands all the time, while he's currently on a Lakers team with 2 Hall of Famers and plenty of ball-dominant guys, it makes you wonder, is Russell Westbrook's time as an NBA All-Star over for good? Could Russell Westbrook ever be an NBA All-Star ever again? Well, let's agree to disagree. Agree to disagree is a new kind of video I'm going to try and start, where I go 1v1 debating someone on a topic. In this case, it's whether Russell Westbrook will be an All-Star or not. The person debating for agree obviously agrees with the statement, and the person debating for disagree obviously doesn't agree with the statement. And today I'll be going against my younger brother. I'll be debating that Russ will be an All-Star again, and my brother will be disagreeing, saying Russ will never be an All-Star. In between the debate, I'll be breaking down what is said as objectively as possible to see who was correct. And then after the debate, I'll objectively decide whether Russ will be an All-Star ever again. The rules are simple. No stats are used, we're debating off the dome, each person says their first initial stance, then we can interject with one another. For this episode there will be no time limit, but I may include a time limit in the future if you guys like the video. So let me know in the comments below if you like this kind of video and whether you agree or disagree that Russ will be an All-Star ever again. And also like and subscribe if you enjoyed. Let's get into it.
Round 1, fight!
Okay, I think Russell Westbrook could still be an All-Star in his career. The Lakers had a really bad season last season, but he'll have a second season this year if he's still with them to try and figure out their system, and they've got a new head coach in Darvin Ham. And this will be the second team where he'll have to figure out how to play off the ball like he did in Houston with James Harden. Russ can adapt. Although he's had the ball in his hands a lot in his career, he has shown the ability to play alongside other superstars, like Kevin Durant, and a mini version of the great James Harden we know now, which was in OKC, and then now he played with Harden in Houston for a season. And this is where Russ was amazing in the second half of the season as primarily a cutter and a corner three-point shooter, and he also attacked the rim to the best of his abilities in his NBA career so far. So Russ is a smart guy, and if he really wants to get better and the team to get better, he'll figure out how to play off ball, and he should have good enough numbers to still be an All-Star in his career.
Well, I'm just going to stop you right there. Russell Westbrook is 33, almost 34 years old. He's getting to the tail end of his career. So, and obviously he's on a team with LeBron James, very, very solid, very good player as we all know, and Anthony Davis if he becomes healthy. So those are 2 All-Star players. The Lakers would have to be very exceptional next season for him to also gain All-Star status.
Okay, but Russ is getting older. Lakers are going to need to have Russ and AD at their best to win games, as well as LeBron, of course. That means, theoretically, Russ won't have the ball in his hands as much and have less of an opportunity to score. If the Lakers are going to have 3 All-Stars on the team, they're going to have to be at least a top 3 seed in the West, or someone is going to have to sacrifice their numbers for the betterment of the team. And that sacrifice is most likely going to come from Russ, which might deplete his All-Star status. Okay, but the thing is that LeBron is known to get the best out of his players. LeBron has always done the best to get the best out of his players, and LeBron wants to win.
Did he do that last year? No.
Well, they weren't very good last year, but it's going to take some time, and a lot of guys were injured last year. Russ actually was one of those guys who was not injured very much last
he still
year.
Performed quite poorly.
But he actually played much better when they were out of the lineup, so you can tell like he still got the same athleticism and he still has the talent. He just needs to figure out the fit next to...
Well, sure, but what is known about Russell Westbrook, or the stereotype is that, on his own team, he tends to perform better. But when he's surrounded by players who are other superstars, his value is kind of known to diminish and decrease. And his play and
But he did that when he started his career with Kevin Durant, who was an MVP level player.
That's true.
And he did it with James Harden in Houston for one season. and he was really good in the second season, and he averaged 27 points a game. It's true. Russ is known for being better when he's by himself. Everyone knows this. Throughout his career, he's always had a very high usage rate for the Lakers, and even last year, his numbers were very good when LeBron wasn't in the lineup. This shows that Russ's talent hasn't evaporated, but it also shows last season he had a hard time playing within the Lakers system. If Russ is averaging 27 points a game, he'll be an all-star with the Lakers.
Well, okay, you can think that. But at the same time...
How is he not? If 27 points a game...
No, that's cool. But at the same time, that was also only with one all-star. And both of those teams, he was only with one superstar.
James Harden is like the most ball-dominant player in the history of the NBA. And Russ still figured out how to play off the ball with him.
Well, that's true. But at the same time, there has two superstars on his team now. And he had most of the ball. Like, he was bringing up the ball with the Lakers. And he maybe, whether it's just, he's getting to the tail end of his career and he's just not as good anymore, but he was just didn't perform poorly, and it could be due to the system, him trying to figure out the system. But
exactly, but they've got a new coach in Darvin Ham who clearly wants to get the best out of Westbrook.
That's
Some
true.
of the stuff he's demanding that I'm not sure if Russ has ever done before, but he clearly wants to get the best out of Westbrook, and if Russ really wants to be the best player that he can be on this Lakers team, and he really wants to win, then he'll get an all-star appearance this year. And even if he doesn't, even if they ship him out to Brooklyn or something like that, he'll pretty much have the keys to the offense, and you bet he's going to have an all-star appearance there.
if he gets shipped out,
he's going to have the ball in his hands
all the time.
If
he gets shipped out of the team, maybe it'll happen. But he also said that he was planning to stay in the pact with the Lakers, and that LeBron, and Anthony Davis did not want anything. They wanted to stick things out, and they wanted to keep going no matter what happens. So and it looks like he plans to stay at the Lakers. If he stays at the Lakers, well, I don't know if he'll be able to figure out and crack that system, especially even if they perform to the best of their ability. That means that LeBron James and Anthony Davis will be playing at exceptional levels. And if you have two all-star appearances, I doubt that Russell Westbrook will be able to put up the numbers to get a third all-star from that team, unless
AD is a big, though. He doesn't need to have the ball in his hands as much as, let's say, we have 3 all-star players that are shooting guard, point guard, and small forward or something like that. So AD doesn't need to have the ball in his hands.
Well, I just don't want the ball in Russell Westbrook's hands, so every time he shoots, it doesn't go off the top of the backboard and go.
Well, see, he's going to fix that this season, because I think Russ is finally tired of putting up these ginormous stats and he just ends up losing in the first or second round. I think that's why he went to the Lakers. He wanted to win. He didn't want to be the face of the franchise, because he's never going to be the face of the franchise, because LeBron's better than him, AD's better than him, Malik Monk was damn near better than him, and this year Lonnie Walker might be better than him.
How's he going to gain an all-star status?
Because he's going to be buying into winning. If they're a really good team, So
you think he's going to average maybe 16, 17 points and 16, 17, 6 and 6, and
he could be an all-star.
You think people are gonna give him the all-star benefit of the doubt? Like, I don't think it's the same with the Warriors.
If the Lakers are good enough and Russ averages, let's say, a few lower points last season, but it's really the eye test.
His expectation that he's always meant to put up big numbers, I think that's just going to stick with him. And even if the Lakers are really good and say LeBron averages 28 points, Anthony Davis averages 23 and 11 or something like that, and when Westbrook averages 18, 7 and 7, I don't think they're going to, the Lakers, unless, maybe they're the 1 seed and they say that, the Lakers have performed so well that we're going to give him 3 all-star appearances and they're going to throw Westbrook in there. But I doubt they're going to do that, because just the stigma that he has to put up huge numbers for him to garner the respect that he to get that spot.
Okay, well, I think he's tired of that.
No, I didn't ask.
I think he's tired of that, and I think this season, to close it out, I think he's finally going to put that all behind him. And I think if he really wants to win, which I think he showed by moving to the Lakers last season, he's going to put last season behind him, and he's going to do what Darvin Ham wants him to do. And if they do that, the Lakers are going to be pretty scary.
Well, as my closing statement, I respectfully disagree with you, And I think that...
Okay, I don't care. Still
No,
don't
no, no,
care.
no,
Still
no, no,
don't. Russell Westbrook is cast as a selfish guy, only caring about his numbers and his success over the team. And if you believe this is the case, it's worked out pretty well for Russ. His numbers always look good. Even last season, his raw numbers looked pretty good for it being his worst season of his career. But Russ is also getting older, and it's clear he's lost some of the fast twitch fibers that made him so athletic and so elite. And he's on a team with a lot of scorers and ball dominant players. At this point in Russ's career though, I believe he just wants to win. That's why he went to LA. After last year being such a disappointment for himself and the Lakers, I believe Russ is finally committed to sacrificing anything for winning. The guy is a competitor. No one wants to lose, and especially not Russ. But I think this means his numbers will drop and he'll have to be content with doing what Darvin Ham asks him to do, which might mean he won't have the ball in his hands as much as he would like. And even though I was debating for Russ being an All-Star again, I think this all means this is the end of All-Star Russ. But that's okay. All-Star appearances don't mean everything. I'm sure a championship ring would feel much better. And if he gets traded, that's a different story, but that's pretty unlikely. But All-Star Russ is most likely gone forever. I hope I'm wrong. Thank you guys for watching. Let me know if you like this kind of new style of video here. I try to do something a little more creative from my new kind of content, mixing in my older style, breakdown, whatever, cinematic videos with a little debate segment in between. I thought it would be entertaining. So let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Check out my latest video right here. Like, comment, and subscribe. And as always, stay rested. See you in the next one.